Men don't wear their pants hanging off their butts.
That, man. And stop killing each other, is he?
Real talk.
All right. Brother Larry?
My man.
Thank you for the...
Good talking to you this morning, brother. Tell the people your name one more time.
They call me Kilo, but my name is Akil Mason Bovell. You feel me? Akil comes from the north side of Africa.
Real talk.
Intelligent one who reasons. So,
real talk.
Y'all brothers, y'all need to be intelligent and reason with one another.
That's real positive. That's a real positive message for the people. This will be on my channel later on. That's Larry Finney on YouTube, right? And it'll also be on my Facebook page, which is Larry Finney as well, right? My brother. Positive education always creates elevation.
I'm telling you, man. They be like, yo, you know too much for your own good.
Listen.
We all need to have this.
We need to talk more, because if we talk more, we would fight less. We would understand that, no, he don't mean anything by that. That's just the way that he talks. You understand? Some brothers don't really know how to talk, so when they encounter brothers who also don't know how to talk, they have problems talking to each other. We need to talk more, and we'll have less problems. Peace.
Good afternoon, everybody. You are tuned into My Food Monday Live with V Dub Boogie. And, of course, the message is always relevant to the things that I'm going to discuss, where I'm going to go for the day, and the archive that I'm going to leave on the Internet for those to listen to when the time comes or when the information needs to be heard by them. But today I am graced and blessed with not just one, not just two, but three brothers who will most definitely give you information that you need to hear today. So, no doubt about it, I'm going to have to go through the list, first caller at a time, of course. So, caller from the 813, why don't you come on the line and introduce yourself? Everybody's microphone is off, but let's be gentlemen about this and go through the list so we can all get a proper introduction. Caller from the 813, state your name for the people and why you're here today.
Yes, my name is Robert Dion Jones, and the reason I'm here today is to help bring out the information on what's going on with our youth today. A lot of violence is going on, and we don't have to worry about the Klan or anybody else. We got to worry about our own selves, and I'm sick of it, and it's time to stop.
Definitely, most definitely. Thank you, brother. Caller from the 337, state your name and exactly why you're here today for the people.
Yeah, my name is Langston Falk, and I'm here with the group, the Village, Black Boys Don't Shoot. We're here today just to put it out there, man, that we need to make a change in the community, and we're here as a village to definitely do that.
No doubt about it, no doubt about it. And I do have another brother from the 415. Brother, state your name and your purpose of being on the show today.
Hey, what's good, man? First of all, appreciate you having us on the show. My name is Charles Foster Jolivet. I'm the writer and director of the piece, Black Boys Don't Shoot. And the primary reason, first of all, that we're on the show is so that we can build as a community. So having this dialogue and this conversation is doing more than just talking about it. It's actually creating synergy towards making some changes, you know, self-reflective changes and then village changes as we go.
Most definitely, most definitely. See, here on My Food Monday, I like to uplift the culture individually first, then collectively, and then nationally. See, if we can build a home, then we can build a culture, and if we can build a culture, we can probably build a nation that's strong enough or formidable to stand on its own. So that's what My Food Monday and Indie Dynasty is about. Here on the station, what we do is give independent artists a voice. So I have a list of songs from a range of independent artists, their music and their styles of music. For the people to hear, and they can come on the station for free and give the people, you know, their music. So here on Indie Dynasty, we're trying to give the village a voice so that the village can be heard. So when I read your message initially, I realized that I had to get you on the show immediately. I wish I could go into the whole production of the situation, but I would prefer the people go invest in seeing the production and understanding where you brothers are coming from. But what I do understand is that you're all established and that you're on the basic of group economics. It's another topic that I talked about on this show, and group economics is very important to me. So, Brother Robert, what's your take on group economics?
That's a long and vast subject, really, with the economics today. What's going on is the investment. We're not investing in ourselves like we should be. It's like everything that our ancestors fought for. Most of us are not getting the idea that, hey, we're not investing in ourselves. They fought for us to have freedom, and now these freedoms are taken out of context and making us look bad. You know, we have a lot of good people that's out there that's just trying to do the right thing, but it only takes a vast few to make us look wrong. So with the economy today, we need to start working more on investing in ourselves and doing more for each other and working together instead of working against each other.
Well, definitely. That's a great message. Brother Langston, what's your ideals on getting into the mind of the youth today, especially the men? Because it seems to be that the men are not taking responsibility for a lot of their actions and leaving the women to be in control. And if we just leave the women in control without the duality of the male-female energy, I was playing Dr. Umar Johnson prior to you brothers coming on, but if we leave the family without the completion of the father and the mother, the mental stability of the children seems to go either way. So as far as what you brothers offer, what is it mentally that we need to attack so that we can fix the problem with our younger brothers and sisters in our society today?
I really truly believe you have to get down to the root of the problem, male pride. I think that men, we have too much pride in the wrong areas. So I think that if we break down and get to the root of the issue, which is, you know, your upbringing, you know, that you come up in a single-parent home. And then as far as that is concerned, I think that once you just start getting to that portion, that area of their life, they'll start to realize that, you know what, that I don't want my kids to live and grow up in that same elements that I did, you know, so they'll start to be there. And it's all about just making people are more attracted to what's cool and what's relevant. And I think that if we start as a society, even as men, to make it seem cool and be, you know, and right to be there for our kids and be there for the youth, then I think that it'll all change. But I think that men nowadays, pride has really stopped them from growing and being there for their kids and being a mentor in the community.
Most definitely, most definitely. I have another caller that's waiting to get on the line, but right before I let that caller get on the line and ask their question, I want to ask the Brother Charles, what inspires you to put this whole thing together? And before I go, and you can get into that, I listened to the Brother Tariq Nasheed, and he says that, you know, without substance, nobody really wants to stand behind you and really follow your lead or do what it is that you do. He has, of course, dropped one of the most profound and greatest documentaries to inspire young black children to change their path, which would be Healing Colors 1 and 2. I guess Part 3 is on the way. So what inspires you to establish yourself and establish your own credentials and your own positive feedback and your own contribution to black men growing up today?
I mean, there's a lot of answers to that. So I would say that the primary reason would be the people. You know, I was lucky enough to have a two-parent home, but I had best friends who did not, who were, you know, still out there in the streets doing things that they know better about. So what it was is that I wanted to be a part of some sort of solution. We've had this conversation. The violence is out of control. Black-on-black crime. So we've had these conversations a million times, and I said to myself, well, what can I do? I worked in after-school programs. I taught summer school in what they call inner cities, and I said I need to do a little bit more. And to one thing that Langston mentioned a second ago was that the younger generation, they want to identify with what's cool. But the issue is that these kids are vulnerable. Whether they be 25, 26, they're still kids. They've never grown up. They're vulnerable. And so what needs to a part of what needs to happen is that they need to identify the fact that violence against young black boys is not cool. So that's a part of what we're trying to bring to that table, bring in merchandise, some visibility, bring in a production, some visibility, like the Brothers documentary Hidden Colors, visibility, because a lot of it is what I can see, what's tangible. If you see young black dudes in the neighborhood doing positive things, wow, wait a minute, maybe I can do that. And that's also about exposure, and exposing kids to something that they've never seen. If they don't get exposed to it, they don't know about it. Period. A lot of people will say, oh, you can go to college, you can get a good job, you can do this, you can do that. Some of these kids, let's be real. Come on, be for real. So how can they do this if they don't even have the resources? If they don't have the information to get to the resources? So a part of this is, about bringing the production out and bringing it to different communities across the country and being a resource to these young guys.
Most definitely. And soon at the end of the show, or towards the end of this interview, I'm going to ask you about how the people can circulate their economic resources towards you brothers so that it can help in the process of what you're doing. And before I go in and let the caller from the 212 come on, and I also have another caller, so I'm going to be quick and brief about this. The statistics from the FBI state that it is just black boys that have a gun problem or crime problem in our society. As the age grows, coming out of maybe 27, 28, 29, 30, the dynamic begins to change. The statistics go down for black men and start to go up for white men and other ethnicities. So it is a problem within a specific dynamic and specific age group of our people. So what you're doing, I know, is geared towards that specific audience. So if the people are listening, we want them to contribute to this effort just as much as possible. So while I have you three brothers on the line, it seems a lot of people are interested to talk to you. So the caller from the 212, your microphone is now live. What is it that you have to say today on Mind Food Monday?
I wanted to touch on the issue of the black boys and the violence. The thing that I think is the main issue for us is, I'm a woman, but I think that black mothers are a serious offense to it because they teach them things like, oh, I don't need a man, and they're all alone in their homes. You can raise a boy, but you can't teach them how to be a man. You are a woman. They need to know their place. They need to probably try to be more interactive with their fathers, stop being so negative, because that teaches them that, oh, my father ain't shit, so I guess I ain't got to be shit either. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
no doubt
can I touch on that? Can I touch on that point?
Definitely interject.
This is Charles. Process is going along to kind of hear those sentiments from the community in general. And while I 1,000% agree with it, to me the biggest, and I agree with that point. That's one of the biggest things that affects these young kids. But the issue is if you're the father of this child, where the hell are you? I don't care what she's saying. So, well, this is that. You have a responsibility and you have a requirement by law to be the father. So whether you have a bad relationship with this person or not, it doesn't matter. It's your responsibility to be there. That's your job to be there, and you have a legal right. You have a right to be there in this person's life. So there's a difference between, okay, well, she's talking bad about me and she won't let. That's your job and your right to be there. So that's my angle and my perspective. I understand that other side of it because there's some issue there too. But where are you as the father? That's your job.
Well, that's true, but the justice system also fights against black men too, because they're giving these women houses and giving them money to, I guess, kind of take care of their children, so they feel like they don't need to be there. And then when they try to fight for their children in court, they are not giving their children. I know a lot of men that have fought and have lost to some bum chicks. But that's the way the system is set up. The system is set up to keep us apart.
Let me jump in. There's a different dynamic. Because you can look at it as good men caught up in a bad situation, or you can look at it as bad men caught up in a already established situation. Majority of these children from these women come from the same men. So that right there is a problem with our women and choices, and you're probably right on that. And as the brother was saying, where are the fathers? Where are you? A lot of them are lost. We call them lost sheep if you're a Bible follower. You know, it's a valley of dry bones, and a lot of these people are lost in the wilderness somewhere, and they have no idea, no clue how to be a father because they've never really seen one. All they've seen is television gangsters and drug dealers on the street and the same kind of person that they were. As they say, at some point in time, our people began to allow regular men, not established men or strong men, but regular men to do whatever they will with the women. At some point in time, they became just as valuable to the community as the doctor or the lawyer or the business owner or even a carpenter. You know, at some point in time, our women wanted the coolness instead of the legacy, the family, the stronghold, the foundation, or any part of the culture. But before I even go into asking more questions from these brothers, because I want to go into more things about group economics and really, really establishing our community, and I feel that these brothers have that information. I have another call on the line from the 347. Caller from the 347. You're on Mindful Monday Live today with V-Dub Boogie. What is it that you have to say? All right, maybe that was a definite accidental push, but he is or she is tuned in live right now on Mindful Monday. The calls are definitely lit up. Brother Robert, group economics and or how can we say a parallel economy. I heard a story the other day about a brother who was kind of he felt disturbed by the practices that were going on inside his workplace. It was discrimination towards other employees, and he was, I guess we would say, fortunate enough to move up in the ranks of his job, but he'd seen other willing applicants who could probably hold the same position just as well denied for other applicants of a more comfortable color. So the idea or the wording came for creating a parallel economy. And I talked about this last week very briefly in my show, and then I heard it again on somebody else's show. So it's always best to deal on our people creating a parallel economy as opposed to us trying to be a part of another people's economy.
Well, so the thing about that is, I mean, I would say there's a good or bad to everything. The good part about that, yes, having a parallel economy would be good because it will offer those who have inspiring ideas to grow those ideas, and those who have fought to fight and have been there and done that and know that they can handle those same job situations, those same titles as others, and they give them a chance to grow along with it. But the only problem that would be, well, my opinion, of course, only problem that would be is separating ourselves from others. We're going back to what we was trying so hard to fight to get away from. You know, if there was like, for instance, myself, I have served 21 years in the United States Army. I'm still serving at this moment. It's a prime example of what you're talking about right now. You have a equal opportunity to establish those positions within the Army of higher ranks, and it's not based by your color. It is based by your knowledge and what you have done and what you have created for yourself, and, of course, teamwork. And without a team, without a team of all different races working together, it really wouldn't work that well. It happened too many times. Too many countries in the past have done that, where, hey, it's one simple race, we're the powerful race, and that's it, and nobody has a chance. And what's the end result? They all end. So that's the reason why I'm saying that. It will work better if we did have those same opportunities as others, and we'll be treated the exact same way. But of course, that's not happening. That's not happening fully in where we are right now. But we can change that by, like my brother Charles said, by making sure that we show these young people that they do have opportunities, that they're not just based on, hey, what new pair of shoes you have, or what car you have, or what item, but investing in themselves and letting it go down from generation to generation. That, I think, will work better.
All right, most definitely. I do have another one of your brothers on the line for the moment right now, and I'm just going to dive them right into the conversation. And caller from the 678, before you answer the question, you got to state your name and your purpose for being here today. But the question for you today is, how do we spark the entrepreneurial spirit in the young boys today? So caller from the 678, your microphone is live.
All right, yeah, what's going on, folks? My name is Larry McGee, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. And to answer the question, how do we invoke the spirit of entrepreneurship into the youth?
To the youth.
Pretty much. I've seen some things in my past and in my times or whatever, as far as examples of how to invoke entrepreneurship, other than, you know, the mainstream of what's going on now, which is pretty much, all right, everybody's got the lick of wanting to, you know, go sell drugs or something like that to make a quick hit. But at the church that I attended when I was in Atlanta was New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, and one of the things that I saw the men doing to invoke a spirit of entrepreneurship was they had them start their own businesses. Some of them came up with like smoothie, ideas for like smoothies and stuff like that, or they got into the business of working with like Smoothie King and Krispy Kreme and stuff like that, and they were selling smoothies after service on Sundays, or selling donuts, or selling candy, and even coming up in in high school, elementary school, and stuff like that, things that I did myself just to be able to help my mom out and everything, was I went to the local grocery store, bag groceries. They probably don't let people do that nowadays, to like, you know, bag groceries to tips and anything like that. But that was just one of the things that I did. And with the money that I made from bagging groceries and everything like that, I went to the little penny candy store and stuff like that and bought up a lot of candy, and then went to school and sold it. You know, so it's kind of like, you know, right there I had that business mindset. And in high school, a lot of kids were on the whole tip of going to Sam's Club and buying up a bunch of stuff, Capri Suns, Snicker bars, candies, you know, cakes, all the junk food and stuff like that kids, you know, that everybody just eats on a regular, and they sell it. You know, now, I mean, where that's starting to fall off at is that, you know, there was an issue, like, all right, teachers in school, whoever, they had issues as far as, oh, no, you can't be doing that because that's disrupting the class and everything. Oh, no, well, not necessarily doing it during the class. You know, we weren't doing it during the class, but they would say, like, oh, you can't be selling candy. If you're selling candy, you're going to get sent to the principal's office. If you're selling stuff, you're going to get sent to the principal's office. And it's like, all right, here, you're sitting here, I'm in school to learn, you know, about how to make a buck. And here I am doing this exact same thing, and you're telling me that I'm wrong for doing it. So that's deep. You know why that happened is because indoctrination and education can't go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm coming from? They're trying to teach you how to be, or they were trying to teach you how to be part of their system of kinks, or while you were figuring out how their system works. They were indoctrinating you, and you were educating yourself. So that right there was the power of the mind, the spirit of the entrepreneurial, the gift of a man. And that's what the people need more of in our society, the gift of more men out there. So I really want to ask, since the grand title is Black Boys Don't Shoot, and I guess this question would be directed at Brother Charles again, what is your idea, or what do you think is a problem with the influx of guns in our community? There was a time when our people actually built zip guns. Like, we don't build zip guns anymore. We actually use AK-47s and 22s and things of that nature. Where do you think this gun culture and death culture in our community comes from?
We already know the answer to that. It's interesting because some of the writing in the piece talks about the idea of or the ideology or the thought or the question of why do a lot of black folks whoop their kids? Why are a lot of black folks a certain religion? Because they got that from somewhere else, and they were told who they were. This is who you are. And if the media is all that you watch, or if BET is all that you watch, and all that is owned by the same 2 or 3 companies or the same family that is all about making money, and they control your image and what you believe and what you think is true, then this is what you have. So the idea about the question should be is, and I've asked this question I don't know how many times to folks, where do these guns come from? I mean, where do they actually come from? They come from whoever made the gun, so that was somewhere overseas likely, and it got on a boat. How the hell did it get into East Oakland? How did it get into St. Louis, into the Bronx? How did an AK-47 get there? How did an assault rifle get on the street?
I've actually answered a lot of these questions on this show. Some of these guns, or a lot of these guns, are American made, and they are military grade, and they are shipped on our freight lines. And being that our freight lines move ever so slowly through our neighborhoods, these are marked freights. And not everybody in our military is honorable. Not everybody on our police force is honorable to protect these sorts of shipments. Money speaks louder than some people's whole yearly salary. And that's how a lot of these weapons came into the community, and especially New Orleans and the Florida area where they call choppers and things of that nature really flood the streets. Even grenades. I've seen live grenades in Brooklyn, for instance, which, that's not something that is common in the area, but it's out here. And, these things don't come from our people individually. In fact, it's very hard to get a license to have an operation where you can machine guns in this country. So that's definitely
right.
a problem right there. Brother Robert, there's an instance where they're saying our people have created a game called the knockout game. Some call it a myth. Some keep showing evidence that it's true. What's your idea on our youth actually collectively having this idea of creating a game called the knockout game?
Well, it just goes to show, and let's be very blunt about it. Our youth these days most of them are starting out to be a whole lot of followers and easily influenced. It doesn't make any sense to call yourself civilized when you can take the mindset of punching somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's grandchild or whatever in the face just to do it and just to have a good laugh. Well, the end result is some of the people have actually been killed from this, and that's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense at all. The same fact that, add something to that. When a new pair of shorts, everybody heard this, a new pair of Jordans come out, and you have people in line for hours and hours to buy a pair of shoes. It was out 20 years ago when I was wearing them. I'm 39 years old. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I had them, but still stay in line, but willing to take another person's life over a pair of shoes. Is that seriously, I keep throwing this back into my face, but is that what our ancestors really wanted? And I think the answer everybody knows is no. It has to stop. So what's going to be the next fad? The next fad is what? Robbing our sisters at a store and just so you can be a part of a gang, or killing a child. That has happened. Killing a child in a crib. Just see, that's ignorance at its finest. But you want to be considered and treated right, but then you turn around and do things like this and act like this. So that's my feeling on the knockout game. It's just a following intuition to go out and hit somebody in the face just to have fun, to feel like they want to be feel wanted in front of everybody else. It is stupid and it is ignorant. There's no other way to put it.
Most definitely. So the ideals that the brothers today are speaking of is something that I really want to dive into. I myself would like to this summertime bring a bunch of you out camping, and I believe that teaching young brothers and sisters that experience of how to start a campfire, or maybe a little bit of archery, or maybe hiking in the woods properly, it's something that they need as an alternative to just living in what we would call the projects or the ghetto. So I guess I'm going to have to go through this individually. I would like to start with Brother Langston first. He was the first one. Oh, no. Brother Robert was the first one to call in. But I'm going to have Brother Langston tell us some kind of ideas he may have for bringing the youth out, or what programs or what some ideas might you have or suggest for me to bring the youth out this summer, for something for them to do to help them have an alternative to their reality.
I mean, as an artist, I like to say that music plays a big factor in what goes on in this world. I think that today's youth are very intrigued by the lyrics that some of these artists speak on. So as an artist, I think that some of your major artists, such as the Jay-Z's and the Lil Waynes, I think they need to not necessarily glorify, their past, but say, hey, that my past wasn't cool. So I think that bringing youth compared with music together would really allow them to see that, you know what, I rap for the element anymore. I needed to get out, and that's where the youth need to learn that they don't need to stay in that same environment. But you can't do what you're doing and still get out of that environment. You have to learn that if I'm going to be on top of my game, that I have to do something right now that's legal. And I think that from a standpoint of what can we do, I think that having benefit concerts and having some of these, these artists actually speak about coming out of their situation instead of just speaking about what they used to do, I think it makes a big difference in speaking about something present instead of something that they did in the past, because I think now the youth are more focused on what some of these artists did in the past, and it makes it seem like it's cool, and it's really not cool. I think that having mentoring programs with some of these artists would definitely be a benefit to the youth.
No doubt about it. Brother Larry, what are some of your suggestions that I might tell the youth or do for the youth this summer? Because that's what I put out my little circulation thing for, because it's going to be for the station, but a lot of it is going to be so that I can take the youth out and do something for the people and them so they have an alternative experience from what they experience now. So what are some of your suggestions, Brother Larry, that I might be able to do with the youth today?
Well, for starters, one of the programs that I was a member of when I was in middle school was a program called Boys to Men, and what that program was about was pretty much taking neighborhood youth, young men, and pretty much giving them, showing them examples, taking them out on the camping trips and stuff like that, hiking trips and everything, showing them how to, do those things that you was talking about earlier, as far as how to properly hike, how to build a campfire, how to set up a tent and stuff like that. Those are just some of the things that we did. As far as, then there were other like outreach projects that we did within the community and everything like that. So that way, it wasn't just a matter of, you taking these young boys away from the community or whatnot, to make them better men, but you're also, showing them around the community, taking them to the community that they live in. So that way, this community sees these young men as not just, little pookie from up the street, but, that's that young man right there. That's Jamal. That's a good young man right there. I seen him the other day helping out such and such, and, he was doing this, that, and the third. That, and the biggest thing, again, is example. We got to present the example to them. We got to present something to them that's going to catch their attention versus, what's already got their attention, which is, all the glitz and glamour and the smoke and mirrors of the TV world,